Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak directly to your heart, to that place inside you where hope sometimes trembles and faith sometimes feels tired. I want you to receive this message not as a simple motivational line, but as a divine announcement over your life. God is about to open doors you never expected. Doors you didn't plan for, doors you didn't even see, doors you may have stopped believing were possible. Yet they are coming because God has already prepared them. Some of you have been walking through a long season of waiting. You've knocked on many doors hoping one would open. Some stayed shut, some looked promising but led nowhere. Some even closed right when you began to step through, leaving you confused and disappointed. But every closed door you faced was not a sign of rejection. It was a sign of protection. God wasn't denying you, He was positioning you. You were not delayed, you were being developed. What looked like a setback was actually a setup for something far greater than you imagined. Because the truth is, the greatest breakthroughs in life don't always come from the doors you expect. Sometimes the most powerful opportunities emerge from places you never thought to look. A blessing you didn't apply for, a connection you didn't chase, a healing you stopped anticipating, a breakthrough you thought was out of reach. God is the master of the unexpected. When He orchestrates a moment, when He prepares a blessing, when He opens a door, nothing and no one can stop it. Right now, even as you listen, God is working behind the scenes. He is aligning people, resources, and moments specifically for you. He is preparing a way through places that look impossible. He is arranging circumstances you didn't even know needed arranging. There are doors with your name on them that no person, no mistake, no past failure, and no opposition can block. What is meant for you is already written into your story. But to receive what God has prepared, you must hold on to faith. Real faith, the kind that stands firm even when everything around you feels uncertain. Faith that says, God, I trust you even when I don't see how things will work out. Faith that moves even when the path looks unclear. Faith that believes the unseen is more real than the seen. Your faith is the key that unlocks the future waiting for you. Some of you are in a hidden season. You feel unnoticed, overlooked, or forgotten. But hear me, being hidden is not the same as being abandoned. God often hides His greatest warriors before He reveals them. Joseph was hidden in prison before he stepped into leadership. David was hidden in the fields before he was called to the palace. You may feel hidden right now, but you are being prepared, sharpened, matured, and strengthened for a door that requires the version of you God is shaping today. And when the door opens, it will not be a small door. It will be a door of restoration, a door of favor, a door of acceleration, a door that brings clarity where confusion lived, and peace where anxiety tried to take root. It will be the kind of door that makes you say, this had to be God, no one else could have done this, so lift your spirit today. Walk with expectation, hold your faith tightly, because the door you prayed for, cried for, longed for, God is about to open it. And when it opens, everything will change. Life has a way of surprising us, often in moments when we least expect it. Sometimes we spend so much time staring at the door we wanted, the door we prayed for, the door that stayed stubbornly shut, that we forget God is not limited to what we can see. In fact, some of the most life-changing blessings arrive from doors we never even knew existed. That job you didn't apply for, the opportunity you never considered, the relationship you never imagined, the healing you thought would never come. These are the kinds of unexpected doors God loves you to open, because when God works, He doesn't work according to your plans. He works according to His purpose. And His purpose is always bigger, deeper, and more powerful than anything you could design. Think about the times in your life when something unexpectedly good happened. You weren't looking for it, you weren't strategizing for it, you weren't positioning yourself for it. It simply appeared, at the right place, the right moment with the right people. That wasn't coincidence. That was divine orchestration. God specializes in the unpredictable. He delights in surprising His children because it reveals His greatness, not our effort, His wisdom, not our control, His timing, not our schedule. Often, the unexpected door shows up right after a season of disappointment, right after you thought everything was falling apart. Right after you convinced yourself that nothing good was coming. It's almost as if God waits for the right moment, not to test your strength, but to demonstrate His sovereignty. The unexpected door becomes a testimony that while you were worrying, God was working. While you were stressed, God was structuring. While you were doubting, God was designing something far better than what you were holding onto. Sometimes the unexpected door is disguised. It doesn't look impressive at first. It doesn't match your vision board. It doesn't resemble the dream you sketched out. It might look ordinary, simple, even insignificant. Yet hidden within it is favor, opportunity, elevation, and transformation. That's why you must never underestimate small beginnings or humble steps. The door you overlook could be the door God has anointed. And here's something important. Unexpected doors require a flexible spirit. If you are too focused on what you lost, you might miss what God is sending. If you are too attached to your own plan, you might ignore God's better plan. If you are too fixated on the path you preferred, you might walk past the path that leads to destiny. You must allow God to interrupt your expectations so He can introduce His intentions. When the unexpected door begins to open, things shift quickly. People come into your life who accelerate your purpose. Conversations happen that unlock possibilities. Resources appear without struggle. Solutions arise that you had no idea even existed. You begin to realize that God was not silent. He was aligning. He was not delaying. He was preparing. He was not ignoring you. He was arranging something so precise, so perfect, so beyond your imagination that it required time to set into place. And that is why, when you face a season where nothing makes sense, do not assume God has forgotten you. Often that is the season where the most unexpected doors are being built, doors that will carry you into rooms you never saw coming, doors that will connect you to blessings you didn't know were possible, doors that will reveal chapters of your story you didn't even know were written. The unexpected door is coming, and when it opens, you will understand why every other door stayed shut. Faith is not just a belief you carry in your mind. It is the force that shapes your future, the engine that moves you when everything around you tries to keep you still. Faith is the quiet courage that whispers, keep going, even when life is shouting, give up. It is the bridge between where you are and where God is taking you. And if there is one thing you must understand today, it is this. Your faith is the key to the doors God is preparing to open for you. There will be seasons where faith feels easy, when everything is flowing, when prayers are being answered quickly, when life seems aligned. But the real measure of faith is not tested in the sunlight. It is proven in the midnight hours, when the answers are delayed, when the path is uncertain, when your strength feels depleted, and your emotions swing between hope and doubt. Those are the moments where faith becomes a decision, not a feeling. A decision to trust even when your eyes cannot see what your heart believes. Many people think faith means understanding everything God is doing. but true faith is trusting Him even when you understand nothing at all. It is saying, God, I don't know how this will work out, but I believe you already have a way. Faith is not about predicting God's methods. It is about believing in His character. You may not know how, when, or through whom the door will open, but you can be certain that God is faithful, that He keeps His promises, and that He finishes what He starts. There will be moments when you will feel hidden, overlooked, or forgotten. But faith reminds you that hidden seasons are training seasons. A seed grows underground before it rises above the soil. No one sees its struggle, its stretching, or its transformation. But that does not mean nothing is happening. In the same way, God often works in the unseen before He reveals anything in the visible world. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean there is no progress. Just because you can't feel movement doesn't mean God is not shifting things in your favor. Faith requires persistence. It requires praying even when the answer doesn't come. It requires believing when the circumstances preach the opposite. It requires choosing peace when worry tries to take the lead. It requires holding on to hope when you are tempted to settle for disappointment. Sometimes your greatest act of faith will simply be refusing to quit, refusing to let frustration silence your prayers, or let fear cancel your expectations. Faith also demands obedience. Sometimes God will lead you toward a door that looks too big, too unfamiliar, or too intimidating. But the doors that scare you are often the doors that grow you. When God opens a door, He doesn't want you to tiptoe through it. He wants you to walk boldly, confidently, knowing that He is with you. Your faith is not just the key to the door. It is the strength that carries you through it once you step inside. What God is preparing for you is greater than your comfort zone. Faith will require you to release old fears, old patterns, old versions of yourself that cannot survive in the next level. Faith upgrades you before it upgrades your life. It stretches your mindset, strengthens your character, and stabilizes your spirit so that when the door opens, you are ready to walk through it. So keep believing even when it hurts. Keep trusting even when it's slow. Keep praying even when you feel tired. Because every moment you choose faith, you get one step closer to the miracle God has already assigned to your name. And when the door finally opens, you'll realize your faith was not just the key. It was the journey that prepared you for everything waiting on the other side. There comes a time in every journey when God begins to open new doors that lead to growth, change, elevation, healing, and new beginnings. But as exciting as that sounds, not every open door feels comfortable. Sometimes the very door that carries your breakthrough is also the door that challenges you the most. It asks you to let go of what is familiar, step away from what is predictable, and trust God with what is unknown. And that is where many people freeze. They pray for new doors but cling to old seasons. They desire transformation but fear transition. They want God to take them higher, yet they hold on tightly to what keeps them lower. But hear me, you cannot step into the next level if you're still tied to the last one. New doors often come wrapped in uncertainty. They don't always look glamorous. They don't always arrive with clear instructions or guaranteed outcomes. They may lead you into environments you've never worked in, relationships you've never experienced, responsibilities you've never handled, or opportunities that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. And it's natural to feel nervous. Even the strongest people feel intimidated before stepping into something new. But fear is not a stop sign. Fear is simply a sign that you are stepping into territory that requires faith. When God opens a door, He is not asking you to have everything figured out. He is simply asking you to walk. to trust, to move even when your hands tremble and your heart beats fast. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in spite of it. The enemy will try to whisper every reason you should hold back. What if you fail? What if you're not ready? What if people judge you? What if you lose what you have? But faith answers those fears with a stronger truth. What if God is leading me to something greater than anything I've ever known? Every new door requires obedience. Sometimes obedience means saying yes. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means walking away from people who cannot accompany you into the next season. Sometimes it means releasing opportunities that look good but aren't God. Sometimes it means shutting the door on old habits, old mindsets, old relationships, or old versions of yourself that no longer fit the future God is shaping. You cannot carry old weight through new doors. If you try to bring every fear, every insecurity, every doubt, every wound, every toxic relationship, or every limiting belief into the next level, you will sabotage the very blessing God is trying to give you. New doors demand a new version of you, one that is lighter, clearer, stronger, more focused, and more surrendered. There will be moments when the new door feels overwhelming. You may question whether you're qualified, capable, or worthy. But remember, God does not open a door because you are perfect. He opens it because He has prepared you. Everything you've been through, every struggle, every delay, every disappointment has been shaping you for this moment. You are more ready than you think, more equipped than you feel, more anointed than you realize, and understand this. Obedience always leads to blessing. Every time you take a courageous step through a door God opens, something shifts in your life. New connections form, new strength rises, new possibilities appear, new levels of favor unfold. Growth is always waiting behind the door God calls you to walk through. So don't let fear hold you back. Don't let hesitation steal what God is trying to give you. Don't let the comfort of the past keep you from the promise of the future. When God opens a door, step into it boldly, step with faith, step with expectation, step with confidence in the one who leads you. Because the door God opens is never meant to intimidate you. It is meant to transform you. There comes a moment in your journey when God doesn't just open a door. He opens the right door. A door that carries restoration for the areas of your life that were broken, drained, or taken. A door filled with favor that you didn't earn, didn't expect, and couldn't have made happen on your own. A door that brings breakthrough so powerful that it shifts the entire direction of your story. And for some of you listening right now, that moment is closer than you think. You may feel like you've lost too much, waited too long, or endured too many setbacks, but nothing you have gone through is wasted. God specializes in taking every piece of your pain and shaping it into something purposeful. When He opens this next door, you will understand why the struggle was necessary. Restoration means God is not just giving you back what you lost. He is returning it in a better form. Maybe you lost time, relationships, confidence, finances, opportunities, or a sense of direction. Maybe life took something from you that you thought you'd never recover. But when God restores, He doesn't return things the way they were. He multiplies them, He strengthens them. He breathes new life into them. Restoration is not replacement. Restoration is resurrection. It's God reviving what was weakened, renewing what was broken, and refreshing what was drained. You will not enter your next season empty. You will step into it full, strengthened, and rebuilt from the inside out. And then comes favor, God's supernatural advantage. Favor is when doors swing open without your effort. Favor is when you are chosen even though you weren't the most qualified. Favor is when blessings chase you down instead of you chasing them. Favor is when God elevates you in rooms where your name was never supposed to be mentioned. Some people spend years fighting for positions, connections, and recognition. But when God's favor is on your life, what others strive for simply finds you. It shows up without force, without manipulation, and without stress. Favor cannot be explained. It can only be recognized. And when it rests on you, it changes the way people see you, speak about you, and respond to you. There are doors being prepared right now that will open not because of who you know, but because of who God says you are. But perhaps the most powerful part of this next door is the breakthrough waiting behind it. Breakthrough means something that used to block you will no longer have the power to stop you. It means cycles that repeated in your life will finally break. It means generational patterns will end. It means the weight that held you down emotionally, spiritually, or mentally will lift. For years, you may have felt like you were pushing against something invisible and unmovable. But breakthrough is the moment when that invisible wall cracks. It's when your prayers collide with God's perfect timing. It's when things suddenly shift after being stuck for far too long. Breakthrough is fast. Breakthrough is loud. Breakthrough is undeniable. And when it comes, you won't have to question whether it's God. You will know it instantly. This door God is preparing for you is not ordinary. It's not random. It's not small. It is a door that connects every battle you've fought with every promise God has spoken over your life. It is the kind of door that makes people say, "How did you get here so quickly?" It is the kind of door that reveals God was working behind the scenes even when you felt forgotten. It is the kind of door that transforms your tears into testimony, your waiting into wisdom, and your pain into purpose. So get ready, lift your expectations, strengthen your hope, because the door of restoration, the door of favor, the door of breakthrough, it's not just coming. It's already on its way to you. There comes a moment when everything you've been waiting for, everything you've been praying for, everything you've been fighting for, finally begins to align. And though you may not see it yet with your natural eyes, something in the spiritual realm has already shifted in your favor. You may have walked through seasons that tried to break you, moments that tested your patience, situations that stretched your faith to its limit, but none of it was wasted. Every tear watered the ground for your next blessing. Every disappointment pushed you closer to what was meant for you. Every delay prepared you for the exact moment God is about to reveal. And today I declare over you with confidence, the door you have been waiting for is about to open. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, let hope rise again. You are closer than you think, and the pain you endured is about to make sense in a way you never imagined. God has heard every unspoken prayer, seen every silent battle, and counted every sleepless night. You were not forgotten. You were not overlooked. You were being shaped, strengthened for something you could not step into before. Sometimes God doesn't change your situation immediately because He's using the situation to change you. He was preparing your character for what your calling requires. He was refining your heart so you could carry the blessing without being crushed by it. The door that is about to open for you is not just a doorway into a new chapter. It is a doorway into a new version of yourself. A version that is wiser, stronger, more focused, more mature, more confident, and more rooted in faith. You are not stepping into this season as the person who cried their way through the last one. You are stepping into it as the person who survived, who grew, who rose, who refused to be defeated. This next chapter requires the victorious you. the you that learned to trust God in the dark, the you that kept walking when the path was unclear, the you that held on to faith even when faith felt like a whisper, and when that door opens, it will open wide. No halfway blessings, no partial breakthroughs, no small victories. What God is preparing will be undeniable. It will be the type of blessing that silences doubt, overwhelms fear, and reminds you that God never forgot you for a single moment. The door will lead to opportunities that fit you perfectly, relationships that uplift you, environments that nurture your gifts, and moments that remind you that God has always been writing a story far greater than the one you imagined for yourself. People may have underestimated you. Circumstances may have pushed you to your limits. Life may have knocked you down more times than you can count, but none of that disqualified you. If anything, it positioned you. Because God loves using those who the world counted out. He loves elevating those who endured quietly, who grew in silence, who trusted Him when no one else understood. You are not stepping into this next season by accident. You are stepping into it by divine appointment. So walk forward with expectation. Walk with boldness. Walk as someone who knows that heaven is backing them. This is not the moment to shrink. This is not the moment to doubt. This is the moment to breathe deeply, stand tall, and prepare yourself for what is coming. Because the door God is about to open will change everything. It will redeem the waiting, validate the struggle, and outweigh the pain you've carried. Your story is shifting. Your season is turning. Your breakthrough is closer than your breath. This is your time. Get ready, because when God opens this door, nothing and no one will be able to shut it. Every journey has a turning point, a divine moment when the weight you've been carrying begins to lift and the horizon in front of you starts to glow with new promise. You may not realize it yet, but your turning point is approaching. There is a shift happening around you and within you, a subtle but undeniable movement that signals something new is rising. You are stepping into a time where what once felt impossible will suddenly feel within reach, where what was once out of sight will soon stand right before you. And as you move forward, you must carry this truth deep in your spirit. What lies ahead of you is far greater than what lies behind you. For too long, you may have been defined by your struggles, limited by your circumstances, or held back by the shadows of your past. But you are not the same person who walked through those valleys. You have been stretched, tested, refined, and reshaped. You've endured storms that would have broken others. You've survived nights that felt endless. You've walked through seasons that left you questioning your strength, your purpose, and even your future. But despite everything, you are still here, and your survival alone is evidence that greater things are coming. There is a resilience in you now that wasn't there before, a depth of wisdom formed by adversity, a quiet strength born from battles fought in silence. You've learned how to stand even when everything around you was shaking. You've learned how to trust God in ways you never had to before. You've learned how to lean, how to breathe, how to endure, and how to wait without giving up. That kind of growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in challenge. And because you've grown, you are now ready for what God is bringing next. The season you are entering will not look like the one you came out of. You will feel lighter, clearer, more aligned with your purpose. You will begin to notice opportunities that once passed you by. You will see relationships shifting, doors opening, and pathways clearing. There will be moments that catch you off guard, not with pain this time, but with unexpected joy, unexpected provision, unexpected favor. You will find yourself saying, "I never saw this coming," and yet sensing deep inside that God had planned it all along. As you step into this new chapter, choose not to carry old anxieties with you. Leave behind the fear that told you you're not enough. Let go of the doubt that whispered your dreams were too big. Release the voices, internal or external, that convinced you that your future would be limited by your past. You are being called into a wider place, a higher place, a place where your gifts will flourish and your faith will expand. You are stepping into a season where you will feel yourself coming alive again. Walk with expectation. This is not the time to shrink back or approach life cautiously as if something might go wrong. This is the time to step fully into who you were meant to be. Speak boldly, dream fearlessly, move with intention. You have the strength, the calling, and the anointing for what's coming. And remember this: what God is preparing for you is not fragile. It cannot be taken from you, blocked from you, or stolen from you. It has been crafted specifically for your journey, timed perfectly for your life, aligned uniquely with your purpose. Nothing and no one can stop what God has ordained. So breathe deeply, lift your eyes, open your heart. You are on the edge of a new season, a breakthrough season, a season where everything changes. The door in front of you is not just opening, it is opening for you. And when you walk through it, you will step into a future brighter than anything you've left behind. There is a moment in every great story when everything that once felt uncertain suddenly becomes clear, when every struggle begins to reveal its purpose, and when the path ahead, once covered in shadows, begins to shine with undeniable direction. You right now are moving toward that moment. It may not feel like it, because breakthroughs rarely announce themselves in advance. They don't knock politely or wait for you to feel ready. They rise quietly, often in the middle of your ordinary days, and suddenly you realize that everything is shifting. You start to sense a new strength in your spirit, a fresh fire in your heart, a peaceful certainty that something greater is unfolding. And whether you fully see it or not, your life is already turning toward the next chapter God has written. But before you step into that next chapter, you must understand that what is coming is not the continuation of the past, it is the correction of it. Every place where you were hurt, God is bringing healing. Every place where you were held back, God is creating release. Every place where you were ignored, overlooked, or underestimated, God is preparing to highlight, elevate, and establish you. The next season will bring answers to questions you carried for years. It will bring closure to wounds you never thought would heal. It will bring purpose out of moments that once felt senseless. Your story is not circling back to the place of your pain. It is rising out of it. Some of you have spent years carrying silent burdens, fights no one knew you were fighting, disappointments you didn't have the words to express, and hopes you buried because believing again felt too painful. You became good at functioning through frustration, smiling through sadness, and moving forward even when your heart felt heavy. But what you didn't realize is that through every silent battle, God was strengthening you. He was building endurance in your spirit. He was shaping your resilience. He was preparing your heart not only to survive your next season, but to thrive in it. You are stepping into a time where the strength you developed in private will begin to bear visible fruit. As you move forward, you will recognize how nothing was wasted. Every delay was developing something in you. Every disappointment was redirecting you. Every closed door was protecting you, and every tear was watering something God planted deep within. You were not waiting for nothing. You were being prepared for something bigger, something better, something beautifully aligned with who you are becoming. And now, because you endured, you are ready for what once would have overwhelmed you. The new door God is guiding you toward will require a new mindset. You cannot step into it thinking like the person you used to be. The fear-driven version of you will not fit there. The doubtful version of you cannot survive there. The version of you who settled for less, who questioned their worth, who guessed their calling, that version has served its time, but it cannot cross into your next level. You must walk forward with courage, with faith, and with the quiet confidence that what is ahead of you is meant for you. And as this door begins to open, you will notice that things start aligning faster. Conversations that once went nowhere suddenly move with purpose. Doors that stayed shut for years open effortlessly. People who did not see your value begin recognizing your worth. What felt hard becomes easier. What felt stagnant begins to rise. You will look around and realize that your season has shifted without warning, but with perfect timing. So stand tall, let your heart expand with expectation. Breathe deeply and know you're stepping into a chapter written not by your struggle, but by God's promise. This is the moment where everything begins to unfold. This is where the page turns. This is where your story elevates. You are not walking into another ordinary season. You are walking into the fulfillment of everything you have prayed, hoped, cried, and believed for. The door ahead is not just opening. It is opening wide, and it is opening for you.